Hello, Felix from Nintendo Life here. Now, Cuphead came out for the Switch 3 years ago, but we never actually got around to reviewing the game here on this channel. Now though, because of the DLC's recent release, we thought it would be as good time as any to get it done. So let's just get right into it. These words are not going to be mine though, since this review was written by the stupendous Chris Scullion and later reworked into this video by me. The game starts off with Cuphead and his brother Mugman entering the Devil's Casino. The devil himself offers them a bet: double their money or forfeit their souls. Naturally, the big man wins, but he gives the pair a chance to redeem themselves. Only if they can chase down other debtors who are on the run from the devil, he'll let the drink-spaced duo go free. Cuphead's gameplay consists of mainly two types of levels: run-and-gun stages and boss battles. The former are much fewer in number, there are only 6 in total, and are straightforward enough affairs. Get to the end of the stage with at least some health intact, and try to get the 5 coins scattered throughout each run-and-gun level to be able to buy new weapons and abilities in the shop. But the real meat of the game is the 19 boss encounters, and these bosses will really test your abilities to their limits. In case you missed out on other systems, Cuphead is known for being an exceptionally difficult game. The reality is that yes, it can be tricky at times, but it's not like it hits you with an endless onslaught of abuse. It's more about pattern recognition. The boss fights might be a little longer than those in other action platformers, but the same general principle applies here. Learn each boss's attack patterns, figure out how to avoid each attack, discover its weak spots and let it have at it until it eventually kneels over. Most players' frustration will likely lie with the boss's random nature. Although they tend to have 3 unique phases, each with their own sets of attacks, these attacks are generally chosen at random throughout each phase. This means you can't just stand there thinking, right, he's gonna do this attack, then he follows up with that attack and then I can get him. No. Instead, you have to wait to see which of their attacks they will use and then react quickly, and often you won't have a lot of time to do this. At the risk of sounding like a get-good macho man, practice really does make perfect with this one. This is a game where you're expected to take on these boss fights over and over again and slowly learn every attack permutation as you edge ever so slowly closer to completely defeating them. While there is a simple mode, which greatly reduces each boss's health and generally makes things more manageable for beginners, it's not an ideal solution. It removes a lot of the boss's attack types and even entire phases at times, and on top of that, it doesn't even give you a soul contract when you beat them, meaning you can't reach the final stages and beat the game. By all means, consider it a way to ease you into Cuphead's parry and weapon changing mechanics, but you're going to want to switch to regular difficulty as soon as possible to make sure you don't miss out on a lot of the game's charm. It's this charm where Cuphead's real strength lies. Designed in the style of a 1930s Fleischer and Disney animations, and nailing that style with laser precision. It's easily one of the most visually jaw-dropping 2D platformers you'll ever play. Everything is of an immaculate standard. From its hand-drawn animated characters to its fantastic original jazz and big band soundtrack, it's not an exaggeration to say that this game is a piece of art. Thankfully, this Switch port handles everything masterfully too. Image quality is more or less on par with the Xbox and PC versions. Bear in mind, this is a game that's designed to look blurry and low-res anyway. Loading times are nice and quick, and everything runs at a smooth 60 FPS the vast majority of the time. There are occasional hiccups, most notably during the most intense run-and-gun moments, but these are the exception rather than the norm. All in all, Cuphead's short burst of action makes it a perfect game for Switch. Playing it in handheld mode is an absolute delight, though you might need to change the default controls for comfort's sake, and it runs almost as well as it does in more powerful systems. In conclusion, Cuphead was an absolute masterpiece when it first launched on Xbox, and nothing has been sacrificed in its move to the Switch. It's the same visually jaw-dropping, delightful, difficult game it was on Microsoft's consoles, and the Switch's library is all the better for its presence. Its focus on intense boss battles won't be to everyone's taste, but as long as you know what you're getting yourself into, we can't recommend this game enough. We here at Nintendo Life give Cuphead on the Nintendo Switch a 9 out of 10. And now, with the review done, it's time for Felix's personal thoughts. This game is hard. But the thing I want to add is that if you for some reason don't think this game is hard enough, the game has an expert mode unlocked after beating the game. This will add to the boss's health bars and make some patterns even more difficult. It's also the only way to get the prestigious S rank on bosses, and it just adds a good reason to play through this game multiple times. Replayability is just always a good thing in my book. The world maps are just filled with secrets and little details that just shows how much work went into the little things. Even all the 19 bosses have their own beautiful original music compositions, all played by live musicians, and each song just have a lot of cool solos and complex sections to complement them. Just one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in my life. The character design in this game is just delightful, so original and beautifully executed with the hand-drawn art style. And to think that this game was hand-drawn, man, huge props to Studio MDHR. The background and foreground elements really helps making this feel like it's taken from right back in time. And to think that this is the studio's first ever game is truly outstanding. If you like hard boss shooter games with some run and gun implemented, this is the game for you. But similarly, if you don't like those types of games, I don't think you'll find a lot of joy in this game, aside of course from looking at the gorgeous animations. One thing I want to add here at the end is that this is the perfect couch co-op game. Sure, the bosses might be a lot harder when you're teaming up with a teammate, but now if you die, your teammate can revive you by parrying that hard. I've had some crazy experiences when you're just screaming to the other player to come revive you because you're just floating upwards. And there's nothing, I mean nothing better than hitting that parry just before your teammate dies for real. To me, the game is just so much more fun, teaming up Cuphead and Mugman and taking on all these bosses together. Well, that was everything for me. If you like this video, why don't you die repeatedly trying to hit that subscribe button until you eventually succeed? And while you're at it, check out our review on the DLC for this game. Stay safe, play some Cuphead. Felix from Nintendo Life here, out.